My name is Barabbas. But I guess you probably already know that from all the wanted posters that have been plastered around. Did you see these wanted posters? Yeah, well that's me. They wanted me because I was the bad guy. I'm not really the most important or popular man in these parts. See, my band and I, we're rather notorious. I mean, it's really bad. We're known for being really bad. And actually, you may have heard of us when there was a Jericho uprising. A group of us held a protest to rally against the Roman occupation, and it turned into quite a scuffle. Well, I was the ringleader of that one. And the road between Jerusalem has not been a safe place to travel ever since the man and I took over that whole stretch of road there. I'm sorry to say now that we're responsible for some murders. We're responsible for some stealing. We're responsible for lies and cheating and taking away family members. I'm ashamed of it because I killed men. We tried to just target the supporting the Roman Empire, but it was more. So I guess it's no surprise that two of my friends and I got busted. We got caught. And they threw the book at us. They said we deserved the very worst punishment they could think of. They said they was going to sentence us to die on the cross, a slow and agonizing death. A nail through each hand and a nail through each foot. Until finally, well, never mind. You know what will happen. It was decided that this would happen just before Passover. Everybody was going to be in town, so it was a good time to show everyone what happens to rebellions, what happens to the bad people. Well, on the day of the execution, we were in a holding cell in a prison next to Pilate's palace. And while we were there, my two buddies and I, a new prisoner was thrown in. He was beaten badly. He was torn up. He had bruises all over him, cuts all over him. And I had heard the soldiers had did it. That doesn't surprise me one bit. It was quite ironic, but he was accused of leading an uprising just like me. But he certainly wasn't looking just like me. Look at his eyes. Just by looking at him, I can tell he is innocent. I don't understand it. There was no way he was capable of doing all of these things that they keep saying he's done, including what I have done. The most incredible thing was that he didn't speak a word to defend himself, as if he was resigned to his place, as if he knew what was coming. I had heard a big rabble outside, so I began to throw a few taunts myself. If you are indeed the Son of God, why don't you blast out of here? And while you're at it, take me with you. I taunted him. I mocked him as he lay there hurting. And he didn't say a word. He didn't defend himself at all. He just looked at me in love. Seems though that this man was causing quite a bit of a stir. Both Pilate and Herod seemed unconvinced of his guilt. But the crowd, and most certainly the Sanhedrins, weren't going to let him go easily. I had heard the roar of the crowd outside as they let up this chant, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" You'd have thought it was me outside. I'm the sinner. I'm the bad guy. But it wasn't. They were talking about him. Eventually, both he and I were led outside. We were chosen. It was Pilate's custom on an important occasion to release a prisoner by the Pilate wanted them to choose between us. Well, it was a one-man contest as far as I was concerned, but most definitely I was going to be the loser. There was no way they'd let me out to roam the countryside again, to do all the bad things I'd done. And I'm guessing that's what Pilate was thinking too, that I would be the one chosen. But guess what? When he came up to the front of the stage, and I stood on the right side of him, and Jesus stood on the left side, and Pilate said, "Whom do you choose to release?" An outcry in the city roared, "My name, Barabbas." I was taken back. I was thrown back. Why would they be saying my name? I had just mocked this innocent man. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was obvious I was the guilty one. It certainly wasn't him. Then Pilate asked the crowd, "What shall I do then with the one you call the King of Jews?" What do you think the crowd said? They said, "Crucify him!" There could be no doubt of their convictions. So here I am, released and free. And hanging on the cross between my two mates is this man. He's there in my place. The nails that should have been torn into my hands, they're in Jesus's. The nails that should have been put into my feet are not there. It's Jesus. The sign that says King of Jews, it shouldn't be up there. It should say King of Robbers, because that's who I am. I can't understand it. I don't think I ever will. It certainly wasn't fair that this man, Jesus, died in my place. And yours. Understand what this story was about today? Yes. Who sacrificed their life for Barabbas? Jesus. Who sacrificed their life for you? Jesus. That's right. Was Jesus a bad guy? No. Who was the bad guy? Barabbas. And guess what? Not only Barabbas, all of us. We're kind of all considered bad guys. We all have sinful hearts, don't we? We all want things our own way. But this innocent man that came down from heaven, he chose to do that. He didn't have to do that for Barabbas. He didn't have to do that for us. But he did it because it is the greatest love he could possibly show. The greatest sacrifice he could possibly do was to give his life on that cross for all of us so that we could live eternally in Christ. Thank you for listening so nicely.